Steve Mosher, on that, our enemies, particularly the Chinese Communist Party, they know from which we came, from the Adamses and the Jeffersons and the Franklins, and they see our political leadership today. What do you think how do they size up the United States? Do they size it up that we are a generation that are Iron Men, like Lincoln called our founders?
Steve, thank you for doing this show today. We have enemies both without and within. And I must say that vis-a-vis China, we would not be in the position that we are in today were it not for the 4 years of the Trump administration that you so nobly served in. I was part of the Catholic Advisory Group for the Trump campaign in 2016 and 2020. In my view, we won both times. And had it not been for that 4 years, we would be much further down the road, both to dissolution from within and to encroachment from without from communist China. It is the biggest threat internationally by far. Russia pales in comparison, as you appropriately said. Russia is now the junior partner in the Sino-Russian partnership after being the senior partner way back in the 1950s. And I would start in talking about the communist movement in China, the Chinese Communist Party, 94 million people strong. I would start by remembering always that the Chinese Communist Party's principal enemy has always been the United States of America. This was true in the 1930s and 40s. It was temporarily in abeyance in the late 1940s when Chairman Mao successfully convinced communists in our own State Department and in the White House that he was nothing but an agrarian reformer who really wanted nothing but democracy modeled upon the United States. That fooled General George Marshall, and we allowed the communists to come to power in 1949 and 1950. They played the same game against us in the 1980s and 90s when they pretended in many respects to be going our way, so they could get access to our science and our technology and chiefly our financing and our consumer market to buy the cheap Chinese-made goods that are made by the equivalent of slave labor. Now, of course, under the misrule of Xi Jinping, the Communist Party leader, we see the Chinese Communist Party returning to its roots. This was made clear in 2013 when Xi Jinping took power because he published a 9-point Central Committee directive which said that the enemy of the Chinese Communist Party was the rule of law. The enemy was human rights. The enemy was freedom, the free market. The enemy was everything the United States stands for. And they have been at war with us really since their founding, but it has gotten much more vicious, much more aggressive, and I'm afraid is going to go kinetic in the not-too-distant future.